The UK has confirmed the world's first coronavirus death linked to Omicron. The Health Secretary has warned that the variant is spreading at the most rapid rate ever seen and is set to become dominant in London by Wednesday. Sajid Javid said that there are now an estimated 200,000 new infections per day. In the 24 hours between Sunday and Monday, the UK reported 1,576 new Omicron infections. More than 81% of Britons are double jabbed, which puts the country slightly behind Denmark at 82% and Portugal at 81.9%, but well ahead of Bulgaria, Romania and Slovakia, which are all below the 50% level. Booster jabs will now be rolled out to all adults in England.
An investigation has been launched to look into possible gross negligence after a collision between two vessels in the freezing Baltic Sea. Sweden's Coast Guard said the criminal probe was later widened to cover several potential crimes, including gross marine intoxication. A rescue mission hunted for hours on Monday to find two crew members of one of the vessels, a Danish barge. The 55-meter ship had capsized after being struck by a larger British freighter off the coast of Sweden. On Monday afternoon, authorities said one had been found dead and the other was still missing. The Swedish National Board of Health and Welfare said people cannot normally survive much longer than an hour without protective gear in waters that cold. There had been hope the crew might be inside an air pocket within the hull of the overturned Karenhaj barge.
Shadowy Russian military company, the Wagner Group, has been slapped with sanctions by EU foreign ministers. Some of its assets will be frozen, and 8 individuals and 3 firms linked to the company have also been targeted. The company, which allegedly has links to the Kremlin, has taken part in operations across the globe, including alleged torture and extrajudicial killings. The Wagner Group is active in at least 12 countries around the world, including Syria and Libya. But first emerged in Ukraine, where its mercenaries fought alongside pro-Russian separatists, ultimately assisting in Moscow's annexation of Crimea and conflict in the Donbass region.
The Pentagon says no U.S. troops or officials will face punishment for a drone strike on Kabul in August that killed 10 Afghan people, including 7 children. The U.S. Defense Department has admitted a strike launched in the final days of its withdrawal from Afghanistan was a, quote, tragic mistake that killed civilians. Pentagon officials earlier had defended the strike as necessary to stop a possible ISIL attack on U.S. forces evacuating people at Kabul's airport.
Amazon is being investigated for a deadly warehouse collapse after tornadoes tore through the American Midwest last weekend. The U.S. workplace safety watchdog has 6 months to look into whether workplace safety and/or health regulations were violated. 6 workers were killed after a tornado struck the building in Edwardsville, Illinois on Friday evening, with peak winds at an estimated 150 miles per hour. Several employees told Reuters over the weekend that Amazon managers had directed workers to shelter in bathrooms after receiving emergency alerts on their mobile phones. At least 1 worker died there, according to his coworker. Meanwhile, some of the workers said they had their mobile phones, despite what they believed to be a company policy preventing them from having them at work. Amazon says there was no such policy.
The mother of one of the Folweni Massacre victims says she fears that the gunmen will return. 6 people were shot dead on Sunday night in the area of Folweni. This is in the south of Durban. 1 person survived the shooting and is recovering in hospital.
At this stage, really, there's no indication from police on what the motive may be, but I've just spoken to one of the victim's mother, Thandazile Mthembu, a 55-year-old who has been living in this home her whole life where the incident, the massacre happened. And she believes that this shooting may be related to drug crimes. Her son, 32-year-old Sipho Mthembu, was among those who were killed in this massacre, and she says herself that her son was involved in drugs.
At least 12 people, including a number of children, have been injured after a student tried to blow himself up at a Russian Orthodox school outside of Moscow. Authorities say the 18-year-old survived and is in intensive care. Police have now launched an investigation. Russia has seen a rise in attacks in schools in recent years, but incidents at religious schools are rare.
Sudanese police have once again used tear gas to disperse protesters who rallied near the presidential palace in the capital, Khartoum, to voice their anger against the deal that allows the military to remain part of the nation's transitional council. Thousands of people took to the streets in Khartoum and other Sudanese cities on Monday as part of relentless demonstrations. Protesters waved Sudanese flags and chanted, "Civilian is the people's choice," as well as "the people are stronger." Some witnesses say protests were also underway in parts of eastern Sudan, including Kassala and Gadaref states.